Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome again to another session of the 17th annual Transforming the Teaching and Learning Environment virtual conference. I'm Bob Ayers. I'm your moderator. We are fortunate to have with us this morning Dr. Carlos Morales. He's president of TCC Connect Campus, the online campus of Tarrant County College. He's the author of internationally peer-reviewed academic articles and book chapters and has conducted over 100 invited and referee conference presentations. He spanned almost 30 years as a faculty member of biology, science education, educational technology, and instructional design in the classroom and online. Carlos is going to talk about facilitating faculty success in an online campus. Carlos, it's all yours.
All right. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity and the invitation this today for the Transforming the Teaching and Learning conference. Thank you, Bob, also for the opportunity there as well. So the topic you see here, enhancing faculty success in an online campus, comes as a way of me trying to put together the tools that have resulted for us in a high level of success for faculty teaching online. It's important to mention that this is coming from the angle of a centralized distance education, not distributed. So this is the only thing we do, as I always say. This is the aspect that we do for our students. So if you give me the next slide, you will see a few of the topics that I plan to cover during this session. I'm going to give you an overview of the campus so you have the context of what we're trying to do here, right? And with that, we will also cover the students at the center, the planning. I'm going to leverage some of the online assets that we have been developing here, and some strategies for quality and growth, and some of the faculty and student success data that, again, is the result of all these efforts, if you will. So on the next slide, I would like to share some of the strategies that we have employed to establish a fully online campus. I'm going to give you a short background here as well. And be mindful that this is everything done for non-traditional students, okay? I will share also the strategies that will allow you to scale up online learning operations, and some of the approaches that we have done here in terms of implementing quality assurance, faculty mentoring, also learning communities, and course design. The next slide we have put together for this session is also here in terms of the physical arrangement, if you will, for the college. So we are 6 campuses. We are located in Fort Worth, Texas. You have the Northeast, Northwest, South, Southeast, Trinity River, and the TCC Connect campus, which is the campus that I lead. This is the youngest campus, if you will, and we have 2 more locations: a Center for Excellence on Aviation and Transportation and Logistics, and the TCC Opportunity Center. The design originally of this concept was that each campus will be approximately 20 minutes away from the majority of the residents of this county. So we cover a 900 square mile area for this county. The next slide gives you the detail in terms of the background, the overview of the campus. This campus is 11 years old, if you will, this August, and it was established in 14 months using a non-traditional approach. Basically, we created a centralized distance education, centralized dual credit, and created an accelerated weekend college. The campus has been awarded about 11 times at the regional and national level. This semester, we have 33,000 student enrollments. For those of you that wants the FTE, that is about 19,100 students for the spring semester. We are still capturing the final official numbers from our research office, and this is supported by 500 plus faculty members. Campuses has been designed and works from a highly innovative point of view, agility, and we have been providing leadership not only to the college in distance education, to the state, but also at the national level as well. As I said at the beginning, this is everything that I will say is from the lens of centralized online learning. We have been able to not only influence, but also create policy and procedures as part of establishing this campus. So I went pretty much 11 years back in time in terms of those elements. The next slide will show you some of the details that are happening today, if you will. We have approximately 52 full-time faculty members. That number continues to be adjusted. I think that because, again, this spring semester just started, I think we are at 60 because we had to hire more for the spring full-time, and approximately 500 part-time faculty members that then support the rest of the operation. We are 62 full-time staff members and approximately 6 part-time members. We have 43 more recently. We got actually yesterday we got an approval for additional programs. And through all these 10 years, which we celebrated in August of 24, we have served approximately 300,000 students, and that is more or less at a rate of 30,000 a year, right? But we have been serving certainly more, many more than that. We are the only, or in this case, the first virtual campus in Texas built from the ground up. The word campus has been used in multiple ways through time, but what I mean by a virtual campus is a few things. We have the full structure of a campus, meaning I'm the president, I have vice presidents of academic affairs, student affairs, I have deans, I have chairs and directors of departments. I have a full student affairs division, and we have a full control over the schedule. So we are responsible for approximately 1,200 sections every semester. And in addition to that, we have instructional designers and multimedia designers, online advisors. So again, the structure is as a campus with its duties and responsibilities. If we advance the presentation on the next slide, just quickly, you will see a cover page for assets of the college. If we go on the next one, what you see here are what I will call the assets of the online campus. You see the sequence of initiatives and the implementation date. All of this was done to establish the campus, right? You see online peer course development, which is basically the development of master courses. We implemented the winter semester online, a summer online. We are the pioneers of 8-week programs in the college, which we call them accelerated. Okay, we had an online summer high school. We are responsible for online advising for the students at the online campus, but also for the face-to-face sister campuses here. We implemented a coaching program called the eFaculty Coach for the faculty success, and also implemented the virtual computer lab. I want to point to the fact that up until the virtual computer lab, all these activities were done before the pandemic. As you know, there is a before and after. So we were 7 years ahead of the pandemic in terms of the preparation and the structure and the activities that we were doing. The pandemic only gave us 24/7 visibility or higher visibility, if you will. Not just that, but again, is one of the important elements that we mentioned. In spring of 21, we implemented the data team because we place a lot of emphasis on the data for the students. I'm sorry, my assistant here got activated. So again, those assets are still in place, and they help us with serving students and ensuring faculty success. The next one, now I'm going to give you a few of those assets. We have a mandatory online instructor certification that certifies instructors to teach online. We use two approaches. One is new faculty teaching online, and also experienced faculty that come to the campus either full-time or part-time, and we use our own version of a prior learning assessment, if you will, that then allow us to certify an experienced faculty member in as short as one business day. Be mindful that the strategy here is not to necessarily put individuals through a new, perhaps a repeated training, because many institutions use the same learning management system. Perhaps they use more tools in one institution versus the other institution. So we are trying to convalidate as much as possible, but it's also a strategy that we have used to scale the offerings really, really fast, right? And we certify faculty, not courses. There are models that certify a faculty member to teach Math 101 or Biology 101. No, we certify the faculty to teach any courses in math that exist as part of our catalog. The next slide, the more recent version of the OIC, as we call it, includes the regular and substantive interaction requirement by the title of, by the U.S. Department of Education, I meant to say, which requires us to measure instructor presence. Those elements were in place, but this activity or this mandate allow us to enforce it even at a more consistent rate, if you will. We also include in this training accessibility, also elements of course design. Be mindful that the training includes course design, but we do courses in a master way, right? Not all our courses are peer-developed courses yet, because we have approximately 250 single courses, right? So in that sense, we need to, we are embarked in a plan to, reach up to that total number of courses to have them in this format. The OIC is also competency-based, and very, very important, we secure an approval from our college, if you will, and all the parties that are involved in this endeavor to apply an expiration date, or in other words, make this renewable. So every 2 years, faculty that possess this certification, which allow them to teach online in our campus, need to renew that certification, right? It expires. This is an important quality assurance because I imagine that many of you know how difficult it is to design a course, to train to teach online, and to teach the course. Those three things at the same time sometimes is very problematic for all the stakeholders involved in that teaching moment. So again, very, very important, and this is an activity that we are very proud of the way it is, and this is its third iteration. The next slide, I mentioned before peer-developed courses when I discussed the initiatives. So in this case, we are using this as a faculty readiness tool, right? You see there are new e-learning courses. When we say new, of course, if there is a new program, from the get-go, they are developed in this format. We are still converting many courses because, again, it's hundreds of courses, but our fully online programs are in peer develop mode. What's the reasoning? The reasoning is you want to preserve branding, You want to preserve the look and feel of your interface for your students. You don't want your students to be, learning the interface every time or every semester or between classes, right? So there is that. Faculty participate in collaborative discussions with department chairs, the instructional service team, and as well as the faculty coaches. The expectation in this endeavor is that individuals create original content, okay? There is a huge focus here in our college and our campus on OER. So we have been pushing for those elements, and is also what we call textbook agnostic, okay? Which also means that any faculty member with the subject matter expertise of, let's say, biology, like in my case, anybody can teach any of those courses, right? Without the challenge of let me update it to my own teaching style because the other professor did it different way. No, this is done in a way that anybody can teach the course. The process for that is basically a week holders, and then they are paired with an instructional designer. Okay, they work for 12 weeks, and they all of them review and sign off on that product. The product goes then live into the LMS, and then the clock starts ticking in terms of the revision that may be needed based on new content or new developments or things that may not be as effective when they were conceptualized than when they are being developed live. The next slide gives you an idea of if you will, and I'm just using this slide just to exemplify something that happened during the pandemic. During the pandemic, you remember everybody was scrambling, and many individuals received support. That we released this set of peer-developed courses to the rest of the college, right? So many of the faculty members teaching, I don't know, art appreciation, right? Pandemic started pretty much on the week 7 of the spring semester in 20. And at that moment, it was so the metaphor here is that it's like, going to chapter 7, assuming 16 chapters in a book, 16 weeks, and you go there and you teach from that point forward. So again, we release these as well as science courses into the rest of the college. The next slide discusses the role of instructional designers. I'm pretty sure that you know how hot of a commodity they are still in higher education. And for us, they act as consultants to the faculty in the development of online courses. We hire them with competencies that then are leveraged to help faculty translate content. You have heard shovelware, you have heard, loading PowerPoints and, those type of strategies. We don't do that. We do conversions and we do translation of activities for online delivery. Not to bore you too much, but you see in that third bullet some of those competencies they bring to the table. But again, they assist faculty with the strategies to improve the delivery of instruction. The next slide talks about an important asset that I mentioned at the beginning, the faculty coaches, which provide e-learning faculty with continuous support in the areas of online presence, administration of the classroom, and just-in-time training. This coach is not punitive. Is different than maybe a sports coach that sends you to the bench when you are in your heyday, or maybe you made a few mistakes, right? That's not what we do here. The coach is more of a individual that gives you guidance on how to perform better, okay, based on situations that actually the faculty member brings to the table, right? It has been extremely successful to the point that faculty share with other faculty members and they become referrals, right, to our faculty coach group. This is part of our quality assurance process, and the team is comprised of about members. There is a director and three coaches. This is also based on data collection. We know that our faculty are very interested in their performance data in regards to student success and outcomes. So there is always a conversation in regards to how that data and how those outcomes are being affected for the operation. If you give me the next slide, you will see the virtual computer lab that I mentioned before. And the intention here was that we saw, I will call it a disparity, if you will, between the students that were enrolled in face-to-face classes and programs versus the one in online. Because in face-to-face, you have access to a computer lab, a physical computer lab, right? I mean, your 20 or 30 computers, secluded in a room with high-end software. We didn't have that online, right? And even though the institution provides students with a suite of software, the specialized software was not necessarily provided, nor the student's computer was able to run that software, right? So what we did is we worked with IT, and they had the VMware, a tool that we enabled for a virtual computer lab. And some of you perhaps have used this technology. You click and you see your desktop. And the more important element is that you can connect not only from anywhere, but also with any type of device, as long as it meets security requirements through the browser, right? So you need the latest browser that is, with the latest security patches. You will be able to connect. Right now, our infrastructure allows for 5,000 simultaneous connections. We have not had any hiccups. As I said before, it is part of an equity element, is access, is retention, and is student success for our learners. The next section, if you will, and this is what I meant before in terms of faculty and student success. Let's go on the next one. Very important, the role that online learning plays in academic continuity. You remember the pandemic. Some of you may be in areas that are prone to hurricanes, to forest fires, earthquakes, I mean, different human-made or natural emergencies. So online learning plays a key role in that, and this institution has right now, this is the third iteration that I have led on the creation of the academic continuity plan. But I'm just pointing to the fact that this is also an asset, right? The academic continuity plan, we were able to develop it. Our online faculty served as mentors to many of our face-to-face colleagues, but we created a way to be much more organized with a toolbox and training for those in the face-to-face setting to provide that continuity for students. The next slide shares, and let me just go to the other one because this is academic continuity. Give me the next one, please. Keep going, please. Thank you. So I'm gonna just point here to some of the successes that we are seeing with our work. And okay, we'll wait a second. We are not seeing the slides. There you go. Thank you. So I want to show you the outcomes, in this case, the success rates and the retention rates. And this particular slide shows until fall of 24, but of course we have data longer than this. Want to highlight the number of enrollments, and we are still waiting for the final success rate from our Office of IR that we can then publish. But you see summer, a very large number of enrollments. It's approximately 42% of the enrollments in the summer college-wide. You see the success rate, you see also the retention rate, but I want you to focus on the long semesters. The spring, we achieved 77% on C or better and 91% retention rate. The fall semesters are high, lower in the retention, in the success rate, and then similar in terms of the retention rate. But you see that we have been pretty similar in terms of those numbers, with the highest at 84% for C or better and 94% for retention. We are producing outcomes a little higher than the rest of the industry. And we strongly believe, based on practice and based on internal data collection and analysis, that it has to do with all these assets combined and be made available to the faculty through a centralized operation. The next slide shares, and again, I have many more data points, but this is one of our accelerated terms. And this is the winter semester, extremely popular with university students. And they take one class in approximately 3 weeks and a half, 4 weeks, depending on the calendar and the winter semester. But you see 88.9 success, C or better, and a 96% retention rate. So we are extremely proud of these figures. And again, you have seen that growth since 2021. If I'm not mistaken, we are offering approximately 53 sections every winter semester, and our growth is between 3 and 5 sections. Be mindful that in the winter semester, the college closes, people are on vacation, holiday vacations. So we did this online because there is a part of the student body that wants to do this while they multitask. So again, just pointing to that aspect. The next slide, if you will, covers the aspect of some of the lessons learned and some of the data points that we have been capturing. This is a dashboard, if you will, that tell us the number of online instructor certifications that have been awarded, right? And you see all kinds of data there. Each color is for a campus, and you see those that are pending, those that are due for recertification. Okay, on average, they take 29 days to complete the certification. We have some cases on extreme side that can complete the certification in 5 days. We heard of people completing over a weekend, right? And this is their desire, this is their pace. We do not influence or pressure. However, this is a condition for you to be assigned a course. You do not teach, you are not assigned a course if you don't meet the OIC certification. Be mindful that it is mandatory, but it is a faculty success activity. It is an activity that aspires to make faculty successful in their endeavor. If you give me the next slide, is also another dashboard, if you will, and this one is more from the faculty coaches, okay? And it tells you the number of course observations. You see different elements in terms of what happens in the classroom, instructions, the course materials, the syllabus is posted. So this particular dashboard has to do with a course readiness, which, let me just make a parenthesis, we have a process that faculty need to certify that the course is ready for delivery. As you may know, courses can be copied from semester to semester, or you download a basic set and then put it in your course, right? But when you copy from semester to semester, sometimes dates from spring get carried over to fall and they don't match, or your number of weeks varies a little bit. We have found that that is very difficult for students, right? So instead of the faculty member updating that on the fly, if you will, we have given them a period to complete this activity so that course is ready for delivery, similar to any other endeavor that you want to be ready for that delivery. So in this case is for the students. I think I have another slide that is another dashboard. Actually, this is the one on the readiness with more visuals, but I want you to to see the number of, for this particular snapshot, the number of colleague IDs, or the number of individuals, if you will, on an individual basis per ID that have submitted their readiness instruments. So 436 out of 503 at the beginning of this is a spring 24 course readiness. That's the one that I had for this session. So you see all the other elements in terms of the distribution of the number of courses ready or sections ready per department chair, per dean, per session, if it is the first session, or if it is a second session, meaning first 8 week or first 7 weeks, and second 7 weeks or second 8 weeks. So again, this is the way we have been helping faculty be successful, and faculty have access to this, right? None of this is hidden. None of this is designed with the intention of gotcha or penalize. It has been a conversation. This also triggers training, right? To the extent that is either the faculty coach recommends training, or the faculty member request training. Do you have training on, I don't know, building better assignments for field studies? I'm just trying to make a point. Okay, and depending the number of requests on a topic, then it becomes a project for us to build that training, and the intention is to deliver it as quickly as it is requested, right? In the same semester that is requested, because then it becomes a just-in-time training opportunity that then we are able to satisfy not only a need, but an area that will result in significant improvement. I believe that I have maybe another slide here. Oh, yeah, this is the visual that give us the greatest satisfaction, aside from the number of students that are succeeding in our classes. These are part of the recognitions that we have received throughout this time. I think that I am complete in my presentation, and I am available for any questions that may come from the audience.
I know I have a question. So Carlos, the online campus has its own student services department. How is that different? What does it do differently from the on-campus student services department?
Sure. One of the main differences is the hours that we operate. We have extended hours until 9 p.m., while face-to-face ends at 5 p.m. So you have that element. The other aspect is that is also on demand, right? I mean, you don't need to make a line. You don't need to necessarily come to the campus. The campus is on 30,000 square feet in a tower, okay? In a complex of 3 other entities for the college, right? So we transact phone, online, video conference, and it provides the proximity and the immediacy to the students. We are responsible for online advising. So again, we provide that service to students, so they are very intentional in their studies, and we direct them to the proper, not only resource, but the proper set of classes so they finish quickly.
Yeah, thanks. I've been in a situation where student services, would tell students, okay, we're open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Feel free to drop in anytime, which is just ridiculous, right?
Yes, no, and that is part of the situation that we needed to address, if you will, when we were establishing the campus, right? There is a clientele, there is a student body that cannot come to those hours, right? And to those set of parameters, right? And let me just say something else. There is part of the student body that will never go simply because, they are in a different type of transaction, right? So what we have done is to shorten the distance between the institution and the student, right? Not only on the teaching, but also on the student services. The other thing that we do is we have success coaches completely dedicated to the online student body because they have different needs. Okay, they learn differently, right? We have seen, graphs of activities and logged in that are very high between midnight and 2 a.m. and very low at 10 a.m., right? So our students demand a different type of accommodation for their studies, right? I'm not saying that faculty is up at 2 a.m., right? But what I'm saying is that at least students are in their, engaged in their studies at those times.
Are
And
all your students from Texas, or do you go to take students from anywhere?
yes, 98% of our students are from Texas. We have about 2%, it's a very small number. Last time we were checking, we were about maybe 1,200, 1,500 students outside of the state. And they are primarily students that used to live in Texas and they move because of military obligations or job obligations, so they continue their studies with us. We are not necessarily actively recruiting outside of the state at this particular moment. We are extremely large locally, so that's in the works.
That makes sense. Texas is big enough with a big enough pool of potential students to keep you busy. What
Yes.
what other thing? Uh, the cost per credit hour, is it the same for the online campus versus the
Yes,
offline
the
campus?
college made the decision before my arrival here to the college that the college charges one fee. So they charge a tuition and you don't pay any extra fees in the majority of the classes. There are some courses, nursing, and some specialized courses that there is an additional small fee, but your 99% of the courses and programs do not pay a fee. So they don't pay a technology fee, they don't pay an online fee. Everybody access learning at the same cost per credit, which right now is it 69 dollars per credit. We just got a raise approved by the board. Last fall it was at 65, so this time is 69. Any other questions from the audience?
You break even on your budget?
Uh, Actually, yes, we make money for the college in several ways, right? We are budget, not necessarily revenue generation, or revenue sharing, if you will. So we are budget, and the total budget for the campus is about 22 million. Okay, but we are the campus that is bringing the largest number of contact hours, which then gets refunded by the state, right? It's over 1.3, 1.4 million contact hours every semester. Okay, and remember that we are online, so we only occupy 30,000 square feet. I have 65 full-time faculty members, and I'm serving 33,000 students. So, the college makes money in the online endeavor. We were not designed to make money. We were designed to widen the access, But along the way, you know that it's digital. Your ways to scale it up are much more efficient. Okay, our sections are capped at 30. I'll give you this other point. When we release the schedule every semester, 90% of our sections fill within an hour. So we know going into the semester, you're good to maybe 1.5 months before the semester, 2 months before the semester starts, we are at 90% capacity. Okay, your other 10% is students that are still figuring out, are they going to transfer? I'm going to continue this, right? But again, 90% fill within an hour is pretty significant for what we are doing. The faculty that we hire and work with us, of course, they are experts in their subject matter, right? But they have become experts in online, right? One item that I think I skip in my faculty part is that they have been actively publishing through conferences, presenting through events, how successful they are and the different strategies that they have been using. Be mindful that these strategies are from the administrative side of things. They share the strategies from the teaching side of things, but they always refer back to the ones that we are implementing, which they assist, right? Many of the things have been on a two-way street approach, right? We propose, and they accept or review, or let's be at a midpoint, right? And many cases faculty come with an idea, okay, that they are seeing a trend, or they are in need of a tool or a process, right? And can we do this, right? And what will it take to do this, right? So we take that to the table and the drawing board, and then we come back and discuss it.
How did you determine, or how do you determine the courses to offer?
First of all, we are responsible for the programs that we have been authorized to offer. So right there, you have your mandate, right? The 40 plus programs. That's what we teach. In recent years, maybe the last 3-4 years, we have been working on, and we are pretty solid at this moment, on a 2-year schedule. Okay, the associate's degree is designed for 2 years, right? So we have agreed to offer on the schedule what is equivalent to 2 years, okay, for students to finish. Be mindful that we have the weekend college and we have dual credit, and students are progressing towards their degrees. This is not necessarily credit accumulation. We want them to finish. The selection of courses is done through data, is done through success rate, is done through the movement of a number of students that change from face-to-face and online, but the majority is based on that schedule that allow our students to complete their degree in 2 years. Any other points?
Can I just ask, is this mostly gen ed, or do you have health sciences or any other type program along that line?
We have our programs range in the areas of business. We have marketing, human resources, entrepreneurship. We have computer science. We have cybersecurity. We just got approved for a health manager program. Okay, we have office technology. So we have all of our programs are transfer programs. Okay, and they vary, in those subject areas that I just listed. So yes, there is gen ed, but there is dedicated programs and subjects.
Thank you so much.
I hope I addressed your question. Any other questions?
almost seems like to do what you're doing, you really do need a large scale. It's in a sense it's more cost effective to be larger than kind of just getting there.
Yes, yes, and we started. I used to make a joke that we were born running rather than crawling, right? And I say that because the first year of the campus in 14, we were at 10,000. When you corral all your online offerings because they were dispersed, right? They are now under one campus, under one umbrella, section numbers, responsibilities. We were at 10,000, okay? And since then, it has been an upward trajectory. I will also add the fact that dedicated resources help a lot, okay? The opportunity to have full control over how many sections and what type of sections you offer also provides these numbers, right? I know that it's not always that way in all places, but I'm just trying to point to the fact that in many institutions, what matters the most is that then, we don't want to open another section because it will cannibalize face-to-face. Yeah, but then the face-to-face sections is at a time that the majority of the students cannot attend unless you are a resident student, right? And not all the community colleges and not all institutions are residency, right? So you have that tension there that you need to recognize, right? Who is going to support the 200-300 students that are waiting for a class that could be offered online, but because of the worry that it may cannibalize a face-to-face section, those students do not graduate. Maybe that's an extreme case, but we see it. I mean, we saw it here for a number of semesters, right? Until we were fully established, right? So that is an important aspect for student success, for completion, and for the endeavor. Be mindful that is the only way a landlocked, if you will, right, or a space-bound operation is able to grow. We are not building any more buildings. We are not opening satellite campuses. The only way for you to grow is through online. Okay. Do you need them to be in your parking lot? Do you need them to be in your library and using your physical services? We can talk longer, right? But perhaps that's not the goal. The goal is that them enroll, progress, finish, and they join the workforce or they transfer to an institution of 4-year level.
My take is you've done a great job there. It's quite a successful operation you have going.
Thank you.
Well, we're out of time,
Sure.
and I appreciate you taking time to do this for us, and it's really informative.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate the audience as well, and the opportunity to share, as well as the invitation. And it was good to see you after all these years. So excellent. Anything else that we can do? If you have any questions, the contact information is on the presentation, and certainly we'll be more than happy to share. Thank you, everybody.